Hello everybody, welcome to MNB World Talkscope. So this time we invited head of HFS Stem Cell Clinic's head and also the lecturer at the Department of Histology at Mongolian National University of Medical Science. Please welcome Ms. Khongorzul Batchuluun. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. So I would really interested in, I would like to know what is itself, stem cell?
Stem cell.
Yeah. And why did you decide to be professionally engaged in this part of medical industry?
Okay. So I'll try my best to, I have to say, elaborate or explain it in easier English.
Right.
Because most of the times when I use the terminologies, most people, dude, I'm lost in here. So actually, in our body, we could say we have two types of cells. Mm-hmm. One cell is the cells that are in the blank cells. And the rest of the cells are the cells that we have, like a hair cell or liver cell or a skin cell. Mm-hmm. So one type of cell has a zero description, mm-hmm. but ready to do anything if it's necessary in our body. So once that cells differentiate into the different types of cells for our organ cells, they can, help and support. So those are the stem cells in our body.
Why did you choose this specialist sector?
Well, my main profession of undergraduate, my major was biomedical researcher and scientist. So after completing my undergrad, I went to the master's, and then when I went to Japan for my PhD degree, our department, I had a chance to study stem cells. And in 2016, in 2012, the professor named Shinya Yamanaka from Japan, he actually, discovered new types of stem cell, which is, he produced the stem cell from our organ cells, which is, it's really difficult and it's really, grand work. And so when I went in Japan in 2013, so at that time stem cell was kind of a new and trendy thing already. So I really wanted to study. So I asked my professor, I really want to study stem cells. And after I completed my research work on the groundwork with the stem cell, I came back to Mongolia and I had a chance to go to Korea and Turkey to study about stem cell therapy. That's when, I already done my PhD on stem cells, and then I studied the therapy in human diseases. So I thought, this is the place.
So in some ways you decided to become an innovator in this industry, right? Because in some ways it must be new in Mongolia, right?
Well, the thing that the stem cells in the health sector in the worldwide, at the moment we have 4 resources that we could use in the patients. One is the blood, another one is the bone marrow, another one is the placenta or the cord blood cells, the stem cells from those tissues, and the fourth one is actually fat tissue. So I think about maybe 5 to 6 years ago, Mongolian First Central Hospital actually developed the very first stem cell therapy in Mongolia, but from blood and bone marrow. So those kind of resources are really good for the patients who are suffering from blood diseases such as leukemia, like blood cancer. So the thing that we use at our hospital is we use the fat tissue. So we use the adipose-derived stem cells. So there's no person in the world who hasn't have extra fat, I think. So it's a really good resource. So 5-6 years ago, First Central Hospital, then us. So it's like state and private. So it's the very first private clinic that offers such service.
Yeah, well, thank you. Now let us introduce you to our audience a little bit more, shall we? you received the Young Scientist Award named after the President of Mongolia, right? So could you please tell us what kind of research was it?
Well, actually, I think I received my research work that I've done was actually in the pituitary gland. So there is a gland, right? Really small gland, like pea-sized gland in the middle of our brain. That is actually the biggest endocrine organ in our body. So I studied about that organ, and it is stem cells. How they differentiate, which means how they develop into different types of cells during adult life, and also who controls it. So in other words, what I've tried to find was, like when we are adults, we say there's a stem cells in our body, though comparing to our young age, those cells, the function and ability are decreased year by year.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to study what makes it, not working as much as properly it should be as in a young adult or young age.
Yes.
So I try to find the key signaling system, because like we talk, as a person, our cells in our body talks with each other. Yeah. So I try to translate, their talk, like signaling and education molecules, because cells need to stick together, and that way they can communicate with each other. So I try to understand which communication system they're using and which one is more important for the increase in number, or which one is more important to, differentiate into different types of cells. As a result, we found out that in adult stage pituitary gland, there is a notch signaling system that is very important to our stem cells in the pituitary gland to differentiate and to proliferate. And those, if we have to say influence in the laboratory, we can make those stem cells differentiate more freely or more in number, to proliferate in number.
I see.
So and I think that, and with that research work, actually I have published 2 to 8 different international journals with the impact factor, like Scopus registered journals. So for that work, I think the government
noticed
your my
contribution.
Yeah.
Also, 3 years ago, you have attended in Germany, right?
Yeah.
In the meeting of Nobel laureates, right? So how that happened?
Well, yeah, it takes place in Lindau, Bayern in Germany, and I think 1 year before that I came back from Japan after finishing my Ph.D. and I was a lecturer at the Mongolian National University of Medical Sciences.
Right.
So we had a big announcement through the email that they are actually looking for the candidates who are willing to go in such kind of meetings, but they said there's a lots of steps that we need to follow up in and to compete with other scientists from other world, other countries.
Right.
So we submitted many kind of documents through to the Mongolian Academy of Science, and then they submitted our works. And from there, I think the German, like Nobel laureates themselves and some other working group, they work on, I think, at least 20,000 to 40,000 applications, and they select only 600 each year. Only 600 chosen young scientists goes to the Lindau, Germany, to meet Nobel laureates. So that was, really nice thing. And it was 68th Nobel laureate meeting, but each year the Nobel laureate theme changes. And the 68th one was the physiology and the medicine. So the field changes every year. So, and the 68th one was the grand one because it was the most Nobel laureate attended meeting in 68 years. So we had 40 different Nobel laureates joining the meeting.
So you were very lucky.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's. The people who organized the Lindau meeting, they said people get only one chance to attend this meeting, and you will get your second one if you get a Nobel Prize.
Oh, wow.
Only Nobel
Nice
laureates
set.
re-invited.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Hope that one day you'll get it.
thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And what about the experience? What experience did you get from that meeting?
Well, itself, just going, I mean, to be a participant, it's the one greatest thing, you know, and then meeting those Nobel laureates who have done grand work in whole world, it's amazing. And I mean, those people are so down to earth, so easy to connect, and so welcoming, and so ready to give their inspiration or their wise words for the young generation. And being with them for 7 to 8 days and learning from them, listening to their live lectures, and after that to have a real life discussion and follow them whole day and talk about my work, my inspiration, and ask their advices, you know, it's amazing.
Being and talking in one field is really,
And it's like, just like us, you know, talking to one another, but the Nobel laureates, equally. And I mean, they are just amazing people, so down to earth and so nice people. And also with, you know, except also the Nobel laureates, and there's 600 young scientists who are thriving in their fields or, you know, still trying to achieve
experience
more things.
Exchange also.
Yeah,
right?
And so from there I made lots of new scientific friends, you know.
Yeah.
So we're still in contact. We still talk about our research work. Not every day, but I mean at least 1 or 3 times.
Noble friends.
Noble friends, yes. 1 to 3 times per month. We discuss about our research work, what I'm working on, and what kind of suggestion they would have, what kind of things happening in their life or in their country, you know. Just the science is so moving. I mean, it moves by second, it changes by second. There are so many researchers in the whole wide world that doing lots of things while we're doing. So they're inventing, finding new findings. So we have to stick with each other and find what kind of things. Because one person can't cooperate. Because one person can't follow everything. So you need your communication.
See
you
from
need
different
your
angles as well, right?
And to get a different perspective is also a very important thing doing the research. So
wow.
Yeah, everything in the whole itself, it's amazing.
Glad for you that you have attended such a very, very big meeting, right?
Yeah.
And are they going to visit you, your Nobel friends?
Oh, yeah. Actually, when I went to Germany, I mean, most of my friends now who are Nobel friends, my Nobel friends.
Okay, let's call it like this.
Yeah, Nobel friends, my Nobel friends. They didn't have a family. They were like either single or were just having their, you know, girlfriend and boyfriend state. But now they're actually married and having kids. Family, though they're still thriving in their field. And a few of them are planning to come, and as well I'm planning to go and visit them. Yeah, a few of them are from Africa and Spain and German and Canada.
So let's imagine that, for example, I'm a doctor and I also want to be there and want to attend that meeting. So you previously you mentioned that you had a very big list of requirements that you have to pass to attend that meeting, right? So could you please tell us what exactly requirements did you meet at that time?
Well, the thing is, I'm not really sure which one really was the point that they chose me, but of course, first thing is you gotta be a scientist or researcher who are doing research work. And second of all, you gotta have some potential work that is already published or in a way to publish in expected international journals. And with that, of course, so it means basically your research background is most important thing. And another part, I think, was the what you do in your spare time is also important, especially in different countries, like volunteer work and other stuff, all in other academic, you know, things that you do, except from your research work is also important, because they ask every detail of your life in their, and you write lots of essays, small essays to big essays during the application form. So I think we had 4 different processes in different timings.
I see.
So they just have to say, yeah, they choose, I think if you are, they, with the 4 stages, they filter the students, I mean the researchers in 4 different steps. So maybe each step has a different value or different point of perspective, or may they have different judges. But what I know is that a few of the judges are actually the laureates itself, Nobel laureates, and also there is a really big organizing team from the Germany itself. So yeah, the research work and also everything else that you do in your spare time is also important.
So, and how did you become a doctor?
Well,
Was it your dream?
Well,
Or that happened suddenly?
It's not. It wasn't a sudden thing, but because both of my parents are doctors.
Oh, I see.
And both of them are really well known in what they do. And actually, so I had a family thing, so I knew what to expect. Tradition thing. Yeah, I knew what to expect if I were medical personnel. So I think on my 7th to 8th year in my high school, I mean middle school, I don't know, and I thought maybe I'm gonna become a plastic surgeon.
Oh wow!
And since then it was like, I'm gonna be plastic surgeon. I'm gonna be plastic
till
I went and finished my high school in States. So during my study in States, I applied to many colleges which were accepted. And during that time, I found that the biomedicine is a new trend in the States as well as in Europe. And those kind of profession, you can just go to any country and just work. And in any country, if you're just finished that qualification.
You will be needed.
Yeah, I can be needed in anywhere. And it doesn't matter which country I came from. It doesn't matter which school I graduated. If I have the license, I mean, I can work anywhere. Because to being a medical doctor, it's really difficult. First of all, it's very difficult, but also the qualification, the license itself, if you go travel into different countries, you cannot accept it directly. So that thought came to my mind. Actually, it's really difficult, because even though if I become a doctor, if I move to another country, I have to restudy or study a little bit more, which will take time and waste of time and money and everything. So biomedicine was, it's just worldwide one thing. You can go anywhere.
Became universal.
It was universal. So that's when I changed my mind to biomedicine. And then I came to Mongolia with a family matter. And then I stayed in Mongolia and studied at the Mongolian National University of Medical Sciences, which at that time it was the Health Science University of Mongolia, and finished my undergrad with the degree of biomedicine, researcher and scientist.
Wow.
And then, so that was the influence. Yeah, my parents had influence, of course, but it changed when I went to States, I guess.
Your interest also played a role.
Yeah.
Yes. And so you are in the medical industry since 2011, right?
Yeah.
So you are currently work also as a doctor. So could you please tell us what year exactly can you name as the most challenging year?
2017. But it was a great year because in 2017 I accomplished my Ph.D. and came back from Japan to Mongolia, living in Japan for 4 years, more than 4 years, and studying the new science, new technologies, and everything was a grand thing, It's also a lifetime opportunity to go and study in such places. And I knew that Mongolia was left behind from the science world in some certain level, though, even though you have expectation, when you come back, you ask too much, I think. And so coming back from there and to continue my research work and continue the things that I used to do in Japan was actually take a toll on me. I tried so much, and I mean, in order to do research work, you need to have a funding. And I had quite a few funding from my professor and from my department, though you have to have some other resources to do your research in Mongolia. You need to be so through and through with your plan. So it kind of, the first few months was,
in some ways.
It was so difficult. But I would say that was the most challenging time for professionally.
But how do you personally rate Mongolian medical sector? So how well does Mongolian government support medical
very
sector?
Political question. I would say, well, medical industry, as a professionalists, like medical doctors, nurses, or everyone at the medical team, I would say the Mongolians are not that far behind with their skills, in terms of their skills, though our working condition, the technology, the consumables that we use are left behind. And clinical departments I think are really thriving, though scientific departments are left far behind. And what I really think that we are lacking in medical field, in Mongolian medical field, is actually the collaboration of the clinical and science. Because like my husband is also a doctor, he's an ophthalmologist, and he also studied in Japan. So during his time, daytime he would see his patients and perform his surgery. But in the evening, he would go to a laboratory to do his research work. So in that way, during the day, the doctor finds, certain things that need to be changed, and he tries it in the laboratory in the evening. That way, science and clinic goes together, and that's how it develops in the developed countries. So those kind of things are kind of separated in Mongolia that I really hope we will come as one in the future. Because now I know that First Central Hospital actually have the research center. I think it's the very first research center that we have at the state clinic, which is really a good thing, I think.
Okay, well, thank you. Now let's take a look at your work at your office, shall we?
So this is our hospital. The HFS Stem Cell Clinic has three main divisions. The first of all, we have clinical laboratories, so we could do all kinds of whole blood testings for the customers and as well as the patients. And also we have a dental clinic, so starting from the root canal or the caries treatment, we could do the implant as well. And the most importantly, the main thing that we do, the main thing that we started in Mongolia is the stem cell therapy for the patients. Maybe who are suffering from osteoarthritis or multiple sclerosis or multiple systemic atrophy, or just the regular customers who's not suffering but to maintain their health and stay healthier and younger. And also we offer the patients as beauty and aesthetic therapies as well. And also if you have certain skin diseases, depending on which diseases, we also could offer the cell therapy. So I think at the moment at our hospital, we have around 15 full-time employees. And plus with the full-time employees, we have almost 10 to 12 advisors, medical advisors, who also cooperate with our hospital and work with our patients.
So in your opinion, what is the biggest lesson that has influenced your life?
Biggest lesson? I think every step of the way, the places that I've been or people that I met, everyone was a lesson for my life. I can't really name one thing or another, but everyone that I met, every place I went, everything I've done, everything has impact in my life, everything. So in life, I try to grasp everything, anything as much as possible from the person. I don't want to judge the people by just the first opinion, but I try to find the new things that I need to learn from that person or that moment or from that life. So everything is a lesson.
Wow, nice said. So also you're a mother of 2 kids, right?
Yes.
So what kind of mother are you?
Well, if you go to my house, if you see my kids how they play, you would say, okay, that's what she teaches them. What they do when I go home is they like my kids take out their notebook or something like a notebook thingy that they made of from just a paper or something, and they just type something. I don't know what they type, or they read, or they write and plan the stuff. So
so sweet.
And that's what my husband and I talk. That I think, that's the influence that I gave them. That we gave them. That everyone has to have their values, and everyone can work and do whatever they want. So but if I have a free time, I do like to spend my free time with my family and maybe go to countryside, to lager, or to have a more wonderful time with my friends.
Yeah, we have a small part of it. Let's take a look.
Okay. I would say the nature is the most important part in our life, because when there is a free time, our friends or our family, we try to go to the countryside as much as possible to stay close to the nature. My advice is, if it's possible, of course, you should hike, or at least just go to the nature and spend a day around the nature. I think what I see in people now is when we go to the countryside, when you go to the nature or we hike, I just want to tell the people that don't leave your trash out. Because I think it's a really important thing, and it's kind of a culture to take your own trash with yourself back to the city.
And the last question that I would like to ask, what dream do you have?
Well, I do really believe that we could, with the stem cell and genetic, and to bring different kinds of tools that are actually, in the top of the world science. We would love to, my friends, my colleagues, everyone in the field are trying to bring the new things that would help and support Mongolian health department itself. So I really do hope that stem cell in a one way could be that thing, and to bring that stem cell thing to a different level is we need to bring cell banking, and we need to also find a new, we need to have our research and development thing in Mongolia. Because everything now we brought in Mongolia, medical-wise, health-wise, or in any industry, everything we bring is actually from other countries.
Yes.
So we need to have our own research and development thing that makes us Mongolian thing, So I really do hope that in the future we would have maybe Nobel laureates from Mongolia, maybe
like
through traditional medicine. Thank you. But I do really believe that if we get a Nobel Prize from Mongolia in the health sector, I do really believe that it may come from traditional medicine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but hope so, that you really will be one day a Nobel laureate.
Thank you so much.
I'll pray for it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your
coming.
Yes,
thank you.
And wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I wish the best for all your team members at the Mongolian MNB World.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today we had Ph.D. Mrs. Khongorzul Batchuluun. We will see you next time. Until that, please stay safe and thank you.